Hi, welcome to my video on solving equations. And the equation we're going to solve is ax equals b, where a and b are belong to the set of integers. But we're going to use it using the properties of multiplication and division properties of equality. And let's turn over and explain. Solving equations, here it is, ax equals b, where a and b are integers. Let's pretend we have the equations 3 times 4 equals 12. So if you divide by 3 on each side, then you get 4 equals 4. So if you have an equation, you can divide each side by the same number. Or you can divide by 4 on each side. 4's cancel out, you get 3 is equal to 3. Or if you want, you can multiply by 1/3 on each side. 1/3 times 3 is 1. So 1 times 4 is 4. And 1/3 of 12. 3 goes into 12 4 times. And you get a 4. So we're able to divide each side by the same number or multiply by the reciprocal of that number. And 2 times 7 is 14. We can divide by 2 on each side. 2's cancelled out, we get 7 equals 7. Or we can divide each side by 7. 7's cancelled out, we get 2 equals 2. Or we can multiply by a half. And a half, because a half is the reciprocal of 2. So a half of 2 cancels. It gives me 1 times 7 is 7. Half of 14 is 7. So we're going to illustrate both of these properties that I'm using here. The properties of equality are multiplication. If a equals b, then a times c equals b times c. So we can multiply each side. We can divide a by c or b by c. So we can multiply both sides by the same number, or we can divide by the same number to obey the property of equality. And let's illustrate that on this equation ax plus b down below. So if we divide by 2 on each side, the 2's cancel out, that gives us a 1's, we get x equals 3. Or we can multiply by the reciprocal of 2. 2 times a half, a half times 2 is 1, and a half of 6 is 3. Remember, the 2's cancel, because the 2 is 2 over 1. So we get numerator of 2 right there, denominator of 2 there, they cancel. And the same with 6 over 1, the 2's cancel, and the 6 3 times. And b, if we divide both sides by -3, the -3's cancel out. They give me 1s, so 1 times x is x. And 21 divided by 3 is -7. Or we can multiply both sides by -1/3. And when we do, we get -1/3 times 3 is 1. Notice 3's cancel, and you get -1 times -1. 1/3 times 21 is -7. 3 goes into 21 7 times. Divide both sides by 5. 5's cancel. X equals -2. 5 divided by 5 is 1. The 1 is not written down. And we can multiply by the reciprocal of 1/5. 1/5 times 5 is 1, and 1/5 of -10 is -2. And if you check back right here, just go back to this one, 2 times what number gives you 6? You can see the answer is 3. 2 3s are 6. And -3 times what number gives you 21? You say it's a 7, but it got to be negative. Or 5 times what number gives you -10? You can see that that's going to be -2. And -4 times what number gives you -20? And you can see you're going to get a 5. So we divide both sides by -4. They cancel out 1's. You get x, and you get a 5. -20 divided by -4 is 5. And again, note, just quick check, 4 times what number gives you 20? It's a 5. And the 5 has to be positive, because a negative times a positive is a negative. Or we can multiply by -1/4 on both sides. And notice, negative 1 times a negative is positive, and 1/4 of 4 is 1. And 4 into 20 goes 5, and a negative times a negative is a positive. So remember, the 4 cancels into the 20 5 times because it's 20 over 1. You got a numerator, denominator, numerator, denominator. So when you multiply fractions, you cancel. And the same here, that's a negative 4 over 1. So really, you get a positive 4 over 4, which is 1 if you want to multiply them. Or you can cancel. 4 into 4 goes 1 each. And down here in the, you divide both sides by 13. 13's cancel. You get x equals 2. Again, 13 divided by 13 is 1. 1 is understood. Or you can multiply both sides by 1 over 13, which is the reciprocal. And just a reminder, while I'm thinking about that, remember that 1 over x times x equals 1, except x can't be 0. So remember, 1 over x times x over 1 is x over x, which is 1. So when you multiply a number by its reciprocal, reciprocal means you turn it upside down. So when we multiply here, the 13's cancel, 1 and 1, so we get x. And 13 into 26 goes 2, so 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, that's using the multiplication or the division property. So it's your choice. Practice means pause the video, work all of these out, and press play, and come back and see how you did. Here we go. Because these are integers, I'm dividing. Divide by 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1. 9 divided by 9 is 1. So notice I put the 1 there again, just a reminder. 9 divided by 9 is 1, and 1 times x is x. Divide by negative 6. Remember the name of the game, or I call it a game, is to solve for x. So x is on the right, x is on the left side, the number is on the right side. So we need x by itself. In other words, we need 1x. So negative 6 divided by negative 6 cancels out. We get x equals negative 3. Divide by negative 10. The x's cancel. We get 1. And negative 15, negative 10 is a 5. Divide by 8. 8's cancel. And we get x equals negative 3. Divide by negative 6. 6's cancel. I get x equals negative 2. Divide by 4. And we get x equals 7. And just check, just a reminder, look back, we take the 7 and put it back. So if you put the 7 back in the place of x, you get 28 equals 28. So that's a 7. 4 7 is 28. Divide both sides by 5. The 5's cancel. 5 and 5 goes once, and we get a negative 12. Divide both sides by negative 3, and that gives me x. They cancel out. And a negative divided by negative, positive 11. And divide both sides by 4. They cancel to get x. 0 divided by 4 is 0. In other words, 4 times what number gives you 0. So if you put a number here, there's x. So if you put a bracket where the x is, what number do you put in here to multiply by 4 to give you 0? The answer is 0. So 0 is the answer. Divide by negative 12 on both sides, and the 12's cancel. X equals 0. Negative 12 times 0 gives you 0. We're dividing by negative 7 on both sides. The 7's cancel out to give me 1x, and that gives me 3. Divide by 15 on both sides. They cancel, give me x, and it gives me negative 3. And just check, negative 3 times 15, negative 45. 3 times negative 7, negative 21. So that brings us to the end of this video on solving. The equation is ax equals b, where you divide both sides by the a, so you get a b over a answer, which could be simplified to an integer in this case. And if you like my video, click on the like button. If you're not a subscriber, click on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell, and you'll get more videos are coming your way. You get notified that I have more videos done. and you write a comment on my video if you wish. And you may also look up www.mathfullyexplained.com as a website I've created. In there I have 3 sections. Me, tells me about my degrees and teaching experience. The videos section tells you about the teaching strategies you're going to use to help you learn your math. And the content gives the topics, the number of videos that I have on each topic. The black font is the videos already online. The red font is the videos I'll be doing in the future. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.